My plan for the morning was to fish the Fountain Flats area of the Firehole River. Hiking in from the parking lot on the old freight road and following a popular path for biking and hiking. I would start fishing at the bridge, and then I would follow this Sentinel Creek Trail, or close to it, and continue to fish the far side of the river down to where Sentinel Creek actually merges with the Firehole. There's a small grove of pine trees that shades this portion of the river in the morning, and so this is where I suspect there might be some large trout. Large trout seem to always get the best holding spots, deeper pools, deeper runs, and where the river funnels in a plentiful supply of food.
Well, it's early in the morning. I'm at Fountain Flats, and this is a fly fishing only section, as you can perhaps see by the sign. I heard some wolves this morning, heard some howling over that way, and then almost like wolf barking off to the left. It's a beautiful morning. It's a Wednesday, June 16th, and 7 o'clock in the morning. So it was like 37 degrees last night, so I'm kind of hoping the water will be a little cooler than yesterday. Yesterday was 60 degrees. So I'm going to head on down. I'm going to try to see if I can get over towards Sentinel Creek. So I'm going to head on down to this little bicycle bridge and begin that journey. So here's all the regulations. As you can see, we're at Fountain Flats, which okay, so this is south. So there's Biscuit Basin where I fished yesterday, and here we are right now at Fountain Flats. So I'm going to walk up to this little bridge area and then cut across and fish. That's where the Sentinel Streams comes in, and that's called the Sentinel Meadows Trail. So hopefully you can see that all right. And I am prepared for a bear encounter. I have my bear spray, although there is a herd of buffalo, and I took some pictures down on the lower section here, and they might move up. They might go up to Nez Pez. They might circle the area. Okay, so while my plan is to fish on the other side, as I stepped up onto the bridge, I just couldn't resist a nice little run like this because we've had a caddis hatch the last couple of days, and so I've got a little bit of an emerger on, and I know that the caddis just love to to lay their eggs and to live in these riffles, and then of course it feeds on down to a pool, and usually there's a lot of fish just waiting for the strays or the unlucky flies. So I'm going to produce one of those unlucky flies. Now, the primary reason for wanting to fish the other side is that I'm casting a long shadow because it's early in the morning. So, but what I liked about this section is my shadow, as you can see, it's mostly falling on this grass here and not over the stream. So let's just try and see how we figure out here, right? Beautiful area. So this fly's not weighted. do a little mend. All right, I think I'll try maybe a cast or two on the other side. I didn't really want to start putting on weighted flies and nymphing. I still got a little more distance to go. Hopefully you can see how clear that water is. This is like fishing a spring creek, so you got to be real subtle. You really have to know what you're doing. Use all the tactics and techniques that you possess. It's actually pretty true of all the rivers I'm going to be fishing. You know, whether it's Henry's Fork or Madison, or at least the Upper Madison. Well, I might try swinging a little caddis here, caddis emerger. Well, this would be a great spot if there were some rises. You could just cast right out at them and let the current carry it. It's nice and gentle. Right now I don't see any fish. Do see some caddis. I'm going to try throw a couple under the bridge. I'm basically buying time, as I'm going to show you in a few minutes. But There appears to be a huge buffalo herd heading towards where I wanted to go. So I'm waiting to see a little bit as to what their plans are, because they take priority every day of the week. Gee, I wonder if I got surrounded by buffalo, would hanging under a bridge be a safe place? I don't know. I haven't read anything about that. I see some large, looks like white millers maybe. Touching the surface, skittering around a little bit. No rises yet. Keeping my eye more on that white miller than I am on. I might change flies. Maybe too early for rising, and maybe nymphing a little bit might help. Actually, I'm kind of blind down here. If I'm going to change flies, I think I'm going to do it and keep an eye on the buffalo herd. in case I walk up and find them like all around me. Pretty much. Wow, they move fast. They move really fast. To think I was going to walk down and around and over that way, right?
What's that warning label on car door mirrors? Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. The same is true for the little GoPro camera and its wide-angle lens, which I have mounted on my chest. In editing, I sharpened up the video and used a digital zoom to give a better sense for what I was seeing. They were still closer than it actually appears.
See, so the beginning of the herd with some of those little babies is just about to touch base with my trail. And then the rest of the herd, there's got to be over 100 of them. It goes as far as I can see. Way down that way. And it looks like the only escape I have is I could walk back to the parking lot as an option. But that's the direction they're moving in. I wonder if they use this bridge. Well, I'm going to make sure that I keep more than 25 yards away from these guys. Right now it looks to me like it's maybe 70 yards. There's one big bull that's just out there staring at me. I assume it's a bull. I don't know. Female maybe. Now she's not looking at me anymore. I don't know, do bulls stay with the herd, or... Because I've seen the bulls wandering around on their own too. There's a lot of buffalo. All right, well, I'm going to change flies and position myself so I'm doing some fishing while also keeping an eye on them. Okay, well, they appear to be coming my way, so I think I'm going to say goodbye to the little buffaloes. I got a feeling they like to use the bridge when they can. So what are my options? I could fish downstream. Yeah, they definitely coming my way. That's crazy. They're already crossing the bridge. That is just where I was. Probably can't see it from here, but I swear one of those big males, the one that's right there, they went over and it looks like another one. They're actually sniffing the spot where I was sitting while changing flies. And it looks like it's a good thing that I decided not to go fish down the stream that way, because that's where the herd seems to be going. So, you know, and if I've been saying buffalo, I apologize. It's bison. It's American bison. All right, so this is the section of the Firehole River. It's right near the last little parking lot, the turnaround if you want to call it, on Fountain Flats. My plan was to fish Sentinel Creek, head up where these little pine trees and stuff are. The herd is slowly moving this way, and I'm going to need to keep an eye on them. Well, the whole time I was tying on a little additional length, my leader, and tying on a little white Miller pattern that I tied over the winter. As you can see, it's a nice little foam body, sparkle, and it's got a little white elk hair there for wings. So I'm going to try tossing this out over these little riffles, because I saw one of these flies doing that back by the bridge before the bison chased me out. I see I'm getting it down now. It's bison. And we'll just see. Skitter it a little bit, you know. Now I pinched the barb on this. I just do a little double check, make sure, because that's part of the rules. I just want to double check that. Come over here. Yep, pinched barb. All right. Wind is starting to pick up too. Pretty shallow here, but I gotta head up where it's a little deeper. Thought I'd show you this. This is out here in this beautiful Fountain Flat area where it's all nice and grassy, and every once in a while you come across these little areas here, and that's where the bison have been, you know, rolling around on their backs and scratching a little bit and itching and getting some of that winter coat off. So that's essentially what those are, as well as buffalo patties. There's lots of those. Beautiful area though. So I'm going to head over towards this little clump of trees, a little island out over there, I understand. And I don't see the buffalo herd. So I guess I'm safe for now. Well, the bison were all coming this way because the road, you know, the path that I was on, that bicycle path there, that runs right along with, you know, that tree line, and they were all looked like they were moving this way. I don't see anything. It might be something maybe a mile over that way. It's not moving though, so it could be a rock. Okay, so I'm just north of this little clump of trees, and you notice the formation here is really quite nice. Let me see if I can show that to you. I'm sort of trying to hide in the shadows of this tree a little bit, but there's almost like a little drop off, a ridge right here. See that sort of volcanic area, and it's really deep. It looks like it's like, you know, over 5 feet deep just on the other side. So the fish, what they'll do is they'll hide right in alongside that. But I'm watching, I think, some little insects, you know, kind of floating down, and I'm not seeing any rises. See, look, there's a little one fluttering right by that grass. Oh, it almost got pulled down under the water. So now it's fluttering under the water. And I'm watching it. I got my rod pointed right at it. I mean, if there's no takers for that, what chance do I have, right? Look at it, it's just below the water. And as far as I can see, nothing rose. Wow. Looks like I'll try another spot. I could have tied on another nymph. You know, I just tied on a white miller, you know, a little searching fly. So I want to, you know, try fishing that first. But, you know, just because I saw that one fly, you know, twitching and, you know, trying to break the surface and having some problems there, doesn't mean that I couldn't put a little more of a weighted nymph or something on the back of my fly, you know, and fish a 2-fly sort of like system. It's possible that might have worked. There's also something out there that looks rather large that's sort of going down. I wonder if we got some drakes or something hatching. Could just be a random feather. Yeah, I haven't seen any drakes around, but see, that's the thing about, you know, when you fish these kinds of streams, you really have to, you know, you want to see the fish if you can. You want to see it feeding, because if I were just nymphing along the side there, which I'll probably do later if I'm not lucky up here, you know, it's hit and miss. But it is a nice area because it's got like the nice shade. Anyway, what I did is I moved around this area, so I'm now now my scent is being carried that way. So if there was anything in the trees, I wanted it to know that I was here. And if I had to spray something, I'd rather be upwind, right? I just did a water check. Took the temperature here, and it's like 69 degrees, which is, forget it for trout. They may have already left this section of the river. That's too bad. It's been, you know, what's today's date? I mean, it's the June 16th. Firehole River, potentially from here down, is almost becoming non-fishable. And I'll walk up a little further. You know, the water temperature changes, you know, goes below 65, or, you know, it's 60 like it was yesterday. But that's, wow, it's kind of surprising. So, no point in fishing here. Even if I were to catch a fish, it would be too stressful for them. Well, I learned where the buffalo are. They never moved. They commandeered that bridge, chased me away, and have since just settled down for an afternoon nap, or morning nap really.
After the matriarchs pushed me off the bridge, they returned to the herd and settled down. It was obvious what they were doing. This completes my exploring and fishing the Firehole River. It's a great river to fish, and I encourage people to check out this little pine tree grove on Fountain Flats. Unfortunately for me, the river temperature was too warm to continue fishing, so I left to fish the Gibbon River. Here's an overview I filmed the following morning of the section of the Gibbon River and Canyon I hiked into, and will post in episode 2. Please subscribe to my channel and continue with me on my quest to fish in Yellowstone and the surrounding areas.
It's still, morning, so the sun's not shining on it. I'm sure there's a prettier view. But then over this way here is actually the pools and stuff that I fished and caught a lot of nice little brown trout. And you can access this area from a parking lot, a little picnic area that's just before the Gibbons Falls exit.